by Henry Asante Twum of Star FM and also Sports Obama. Charlie, guys, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
I wish it was a better day. I wish we probably were talking about Ghana having won the Afcon Cup of Nations for the first time, 35 years. I mean, you know what is unbelievable? I mean, sports mom, you as a football person, and these are the times I miss football historian James Oyedeji. May so rest in perfect peace. It's unbelievable. The last time we won this Nations Cup, the fourth time, the Egyptians had only won it once.
Twice.
Twice.
Yes.
And the Cameroonians had not won it at all.
They had not even played in the quarterfinal before.
Yeah. And here we are talking 35 years after. They've won it 5 times. We're still struggling.
Perhaps the next time we go in, we just have to put at the back of our minds that we've won nothing.
And then maybe
that will give us the edge more to fight and win the 5th one. Because anytime we pretend to go into the tournament thinking that we are 4-time champions, people tend to relax. So the next time we go into the tournaments, the players must put at the back of their minds that we've won nothing.
Then maybe that will do
the players. But the players must also know that the 4 trophies that we've won, none of them were in the team. They haven't won anything.
So if I may ask you, where did it go wrong once again? We're here for the 6th time in the semi-final continuously. Unbelievable record, if you ask me, because very few people go into tournaments continuously being the last 4 for 6 times consecutively. But we just can't find a way of winning that trophy.
Well, for me, I think that a number of issues come in here. I believe that if you want to win a tournament, it starts from day one. It starts from your preparation. It also has to show in how you select players into the team. When the team was in Dubai camping for this particular tournament, there was talk on radio about winning bonuses, about how much they were going to take, about slashing winning bonus, about budget for the competition. I mean, for crying out loud, we have been to the Afcon tournament for many, many times. We have been to the World Cup on 3 occasions, and you would think that we would learn, useful lessons. And we have an administration that has been in office at least in the last 12 years, and we have been to 6 different Africa Cup of Nations.
7.
And this was the 7th, Afcon for President Nyantechi. So some of the issues that cropped up or came up prior to the competition were avoidable. For instance, why do you discuss winning bonus when the team is 2 games into a tournament? Why do you discuss how much they were going to take at every stage of the competition when the tournament was about a week or so away from kickoff? And, it will have a telling effect on the team. Take it or leave it. Psychologically, you will have issues. Even when it got to the team preparing in Accra, there were issues. Going to Dubai, there were issues. Dropping the 3 players, there were issues. Before they even took off from Dubai to Gabon, flight challenges here and there, and they had to stay back in Dubai for 24 more hours until they flew to Gabon. So I think that the pre-tournament issues were too many. You can say, oh, we are experienced, we have been there before, it will not have any effect on us. But look, it has an effect on the team. How do you manage these players? How do you work on their psyche? How do you prepare them for games? All these factors come into play. And for me, we won our first game. The performance was not good, but we were still going. It takes us back to 2 years ago when we even lost our first game. Then we won our second game. And I was thinking that after the first 2 victories, we would settle and be who we are known or noted to be. But that did not happen.
Okay, we will come back to the real football in terms of what happened on the pitch and what the coach is to blame. Did we have the right tactics or the right strategy in terms of the games we played? But you probably just have your summary quickly of what you make of once again a very terrible debacle at the Nations Cup.
Well, I think that the successive failures have been as a result of the mentality. We go into tournament thinking that we have a guarantee to win it. That's basically what has summed up everything we've done in the Afcon in the last 6 consecutive times that we've been there. We think that we are Ghana, and so even with a poor preparation, we will go into the tournament and win it. The approach in the tournament has always been money. off-field issues. And unfortunately, we've not been able to address some of these issues before we go into the tournament. It started from 2008. Before 2006, it was focused on the World Cup. And so even after the elimination in the group stages of the Afcon, people did not really think about how that happened. But it started from Egypt. We remember what happened in, was it Port Said? Players started demanding for money. Management had to kowtow, give them the money they need, come down, go to 2006 World Cup, then everything with the appearance fee. So it's more about trying to satisfy the demands of the players and not pushing the players to achieve what they are supposed to do.
Yeah, but you see, if you talk about things about money, if you talk about things about remuneration in terms of people, bonuses and all that, I mean, the Cameroonians are a classic example for you that defeats that whole discussion.
No,
because
the point
this was a
the
team
point
that
is that-
refused to train, that had bonus rows, but they still on the pitch, they still went on to deliver.
The point I'm making is that once they demand, then the players need to be enforced to achieve what they are supposed to do. That is my point. If you want 15,000, the performance should not be able, it should correspond to
With the
15,000. You've seen the kind of performances we put up in the African Cup. In 2012 when Zambia beat us, players were playing as if they don't care. Even in this tournament, they are being paid. At a point, you see a few of them who were hungrier. Watch this Cameroonian team. It's more about the psyche, as I spoke about. There were players who were quite unknown. Some of them walked through this tournament.
In fact, they only had 2 players or 3 players that had ever come to the Nations Cup before.
Of course.
Yeah,
The
Nicolas Nkulu
and
Mokanju.
Mokanju, yeah.
Benjamin
and
Mokanju.
Vincent Abubakar.
And
Vincent
Abubakar.
Abubakar.
All the
guy
big
who
boys
scored them.
were on the bench.
In fact, Abubakar actually came from the bench.
And
too.
even when
In
you
all
look
the
at the
games,
squad,
the squad.
Nkulu is the most capped
Player.
in this team, but he was on the
He's
bench
been on the bench
until
throughout.
Tieku got injured.
Because others are willing to give 150%, but others are only able to give 20%. And in case of the Black Stars, the people who do not really contribute on the pitch are the ones we've relied on for all these years. They give only 20% on the pitch, but because of their big names, we needed a coach to give that big call. We've only been to the Afcon. The only time that I saw the Black Stars playing and looking more hungrier for success was in 2010 in Angola.
When Milo took a virtually young
But
team.
because of the psyche and mentality in the final, we thought that it was like the Cameroonian team.
Yeah.
It was a team under construction.
We
But
should
they
have
still had the mentality of winning. That was the game we could have beaten Egypt. But the whole nation had the mentality that these are new players. So even the self-gratification and the mediocrity,
Yeah, I mean, accepting-
even if we come second. But this Cameroonian team is a very
We're not
young
ready
team.
to accept
So the
second
fact is that
position.
we need to change the approach, the off-field issues. What have you not changed with respect to the Black Stars?
And it's been the same thing.
It's been the
repeatedly.
same
Yeah, I'm going to come
The
to
same
you.
mistake
And
over
again,
and over again.
I mean, it's amazing that you speak to the story I hear from you guys that the PRO of the Football Association was speaking on the sister radio station this morning and clearly said that our unfortunate situation or loss in the semi-final is due to misfortune.
Yeah, misfortune.
Just misfortune. We were unlucky.
Luck.
But I think I will tend to side with you guys a bit. There's a mental blockade that we need to deal with. There's a psychological gap or psychological block that we need to go around.
Yeah.
That is important that we need to deal with. Because even the Football Association President, Kwesi Nyantakyi, was saying on the BBC before the semi-final game that we had issues psychologically over the years and that they had a psychologist with a team throughout this time that will make a difference. We actually didn't see that difference, but if that is the situation, the psychologists need to work a bit better. But quickly, we'll move on to Skype at this particular moment to speak to a Ghanaian player who plays in England, Shadrach Esimeng, University of West England, FC. I'm sure is a I don't know whether is it a championship team? That's not a championship team, obviously.
No, I think it's League One.
Yes.
Okay, it's a League One team. Okay. Hello, good evening, Shadrach.
Good evening. How you doing?
Okay. Just before we start our discussions on the Black Stars, University of West London FC, England FC, is it a Division 1 team?
It's Mr. Southwest Conference Bachelor games, like combination of Southwest University League.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
quite a competitive league at the moment.
Okay.
For universities, yeah.
Okay. Okay, quickly, let's talk about the Black Stars. I mean, I'm told, my producer tells me you're very interested in the Black Stars. And as a player, as a Ghanaian player playing in the UK, I'm sure for a young player like you, your hope one day is to wear the jersey of the Black Stars. What exactly do you think went wrong with the team, and were you proud as a player watching the Black Stars play at the Nations Cup?
In fairness, I think they did well with the game against Congo. They played very, very well. I was quite impressed. I think that was one of the most impressive games I've watched so far in the Afcon. The Ayew brothers did amazing. I think in their final game in the semi-finals, I think there wasn't a lot of passion. I think they didn't want it as bad as they played with Congo in the quarterfinal. I think that sort of passion wasn't there. They had a few chances in the box they should have easily tapped in, but players like Tete who had a close chance to just tap the ball inside the box. If you quite remember when the crossing came into the box, the players were sort of finishing. That was meant to be a chance for us to even move further, but I'm sorry. But we sort of missed a couple chances, which we should have easily made chance of. You know what I mean? So there wasn't the same passion wasn't there. The same passion they had previously with against other teams in the previous Afcon games was not the same as the one they had in the semi-finals. I think Cameroon were more desperate. They wanted it that bad. They kept on counter-attacking in the first half. They were on our toes, which was not good for us. Like as a fan of a Black Star, I was very. I don't know how to explain my feelings. Like I think I was shocked because we're getting pressured every single time, and we only made a few chances, one or two chances in the first half, which was just 4 from the Black Stars. We've got such quality players who are prone to the European football. Who are good in playing in European leagues, and we play such poor quality football in Afcon. Like that's not right. You know what I mean? It's meant to be quality from the start to the end. We should have stand a chance of taking the cap.
Okay, I mean, Shadrack, having the discussions here in the studio, it's pretty much obvious that as a team or as a country, there's this mental challenge with the fact that we have not won this tournament in 35 years. We want to win it the 5th time, and every time we've come very close, we're unable to annex the trophy. As a football player, sometimes how difficult is it when you have such historical facts playing on your mind psychologically?
Your Highness, like Ghana, I've always made it to the semi-final. I tell you what, I was watching this football game with my friends, and there's so much pressure because everyone knows how Ghanaians are good. Like, we've got players like Wakaso, John, Ayew playing in top teams, you know what I mean? And it's like, anytime they play, people expect quality. You know what I mean? People expect quality. You can't be watching with a bunch of friends who believe in your team and yet see your team get taken out in the semi-final. I mean, it's not right. To me, it hurts me. We won the Afcon Cup of 1986, was it? What was it? 1986? 82.
Yeah.
And since then, there has never been a chance for Ghanaians to get the cup back home. You know what I mean? It's not right. I mean,
okay.
It's very poor. It's very poor.
Shadrack, thank you. I can see you're very passionate about your Black Stars. I hope next time we can make you happier. We can make your friends who join you to support the Black Stars slightly a bit more happier than you are today. Thank you very much for joining us on Football 360.
Thank you very much.
I mean, the chap was talking more of like a fan than even probably like a football player. It just tells you
because he follows the team.
Yeah, he tells you how in the outside world. I mean, up there in the UK, because some of our players who've played in Europe for over the last decade, the Sule Muntaris, the Michael Asians, the Ayew brothers now. I mean, Kojo Asamoah, Abedi Pele of old, and all the big players that have always graced. I mean, Tony Yeboah was in England. Yeah, I mean, it still amazes them how we've been unable to break this jinx over
Exactly the same thing
over the years.
Kevin Prince Boateng has said on
I mean, his Twitter account, and it's critical. So the key question, I mean, there's been things that have been floating on social media. I mean, under one GFA president, Kwesi Nyantakyi, we've had 4 presidents: John Ajekun Kufuor, John Atamils, John Mahama, Nanado. I mean, sports ministers, 14 sports ministers, 9 coaches, 189 players, while $28 million spent on the Black Stars since 2005. What is wrong with Ghanaians? I mean, and KP's message is also there. You can see on your screens. I mean, big changes. We all hope for because Ghana and the people of Ghana deserve better. Hashtag Ghana. Hashtag Prince. I mean, key question. Do we need an overhauling of the Black Stars, the technical team? I mean, it's a bit difficult to say you are touching the Football Association because that is run by a constitution. And unless they go back to Congress, I don't know how that is going to change. I mean, honestly, you don't know where to start from.
Well, under President Kwesi Nyantakyi, we've had different coaches. We've been to tournaments with different coaches. For instance, his first Afcon was in 2006. I think it was a disaster in the last 7 tournaments. That's our worst in terms of performance. We exited at the group stages. Then Rato Medukovic was the coach. 2008 it was Claude.
But we went on to have a very successful
World Cup. Yes. 2010 it was Claude Laura. 2008
it was
Claude Laura. 2010 it was Milo Rajmac. 2012 it was Goran Stevanovic. 2013 it was Akwesi Appiah. And 2015, it was Avram Grant, and 2017 Avram Grant. So
he's the only chap to have taken us to 2 Nations Cup.
2 Nations Cup, tournament in the last 7 editions. So what it means clearly is that the man who is at the helm of affairs at the FA is there, and coaches come and go. And that is where I make this point every time. That I say that coaches will come and go, okay? Players will play for years, they will go. Just as you mentioned, we've had Tony Bafo, we've had Tony Yeboah, we've had Abedi Pele, we've had Frimpong Manson, we've had Opoku Ntin, Opoku Efiye, and the list goes on and on and on. Until recently, Kevin Prince Boateng and Mike Lesson and Suleiman Tari and co. But what
Forgetting Agogo,
Aminu Dramani, yes, Aminu Dramani, Junior Agogo, Eric Addo, John Mensah, and you continue mentioning the names. Where is the system? Where are the structures? Okay, for instance, I ask myself a simple question. What qualifies a player to play for the Black Stars?
Criteria.
It looks like every single day, every step of the way, coaches come in, they give us criteria, and they don't even follow their own criteria.
The district assembly one.
You know, when you ask the question, and I think that we don't have to mince words. Somebody ask why player A never gets the opportunity, player B is always in the team, and the president of the FA told us that the Black Stars is not a district assembly.
So some key questions. I mean, he's raised very important points. Is it that over the years we've always been appointing the wrong coaches?
Not really. We've not been adopting the right strategies. You cannot fault the coaches. One, we inherited a team in 2005 under President Kwesi Nyantakyi. There was a clear-cut plan by Ben Kofi in 2001 on how to groom players to win the Afcon for Ghana and qualify for the World Cup. And so players were picked from the secondary schools, ACM from Augustins, Muntari from Okes, Derek Boateng was playing in the inter-schools. They were picked and started from the under-17. They were all pushed into the under-21 team. They were finalists in 2001. These were the same players at the age of 20. They were pushed into the Black Stars in Mali 2002. It was only ACN who was injured in the quarter-final game. Matthew Apua was a member of that.
I remember that 2002 Afcon was Sam Ade and who?
No, it was Osam Dodu.
Osam Dodu.
It was Osam Dodu. The senior player in that team was Osei Kufuor and Imadodia. Then Kufuor was sent home.
Osei Kufuor was the captain.
Yes. These were the young players who started. And when we got to the Don Penso was in that team, Derek Boateng, John Mensah, Razak Ibrahim, Amankwa Mreku,
Ishmael Ado.
Because at that time, House of Folk team was very good.
So I just want to make a point about long-term plan. So those players in 2001, 2002 were actually the fulcrum of the Black Stars in 2006. Out of the 23 players, 13 of them were from that
team.
Bonkofi,
Razak,
Matthew
Amwa,
John Pencil,
Michael Essien, John Mensah,
Derek Watt,
Adokwe Papu.
13 of them. It was about plan. So from 2001 to 2006, it was a 5-year development plan, and it had matured.
Which matured for them.
And those were the players we kept until 2010, some of them 2014. Then as Samojan joined, we thought we had a team. After 2005-2006, there was supposed to be another plan, since this one had matured.
Yeah.
Tell me if there had ever been a 3-year plan under this FA.
But they were lucky to have the under 20 team to have filled in that gap, even though they didn't have a plan.
It was not a plan.
Even though they didn't have a plan,
it was an accident.
It was an accident. Go through that championship.
Yeah.
Adia was picked from Norway. Andrea, you from Ale Avignon.
Yes, Marseille and was on loan at
Yes.
Yes, we had Opoku Ajiman, who had just moved from Asante Gold and was.
It was
that team that Milo took to 2010.
Even
Absolutely.
that team was more of an Ashanti Gold Academy that played in the 2005 Peru under 17 Wakasu.
Yeah.
Those were the guys. It's
Charles
about
Boateng
it's about
from
planning.
Nanya and
The
Esoa and
FA has never had a plan in place for the football.
Let
me make this point with respect to the collapse. There is one player in the Black Stars team who was invited in 2012 against China, Edwin Jima. He's been in the team for the last 5 years. He's only played one competitive match. He has successfully managed to play in attend two Afcon matches without playing a single minute. So if he was good enough to attend the 2015 tournament and not even played, he was supposed to play in the qualifiers.
He was supposed to mature in 2017.
He was supposed to mature. He was invited in 2017. He never kicked the ball.
And a player like Yadom, whom we have never seen before, gets the chance to play in 2 games.
Yes.
And the same player whom you took to the previous tournament and told us that he's a utility player, can play at right back, left back, central defense, midfield. You never.
He had enjoyed 31 invitations into the Black Stars. 24 of them he sat on the bench. 24 out of 31 invitations, he's been on the bench. Only one competitive game in 5 years. He's still a regular in the Black Stars.
He gets bonuses.
Yes, when you ask about how he manages to get into the Black Stars, they tell you the team is not a district assembly. So when supporters react like district assembly, invincible forces, how do you...
Okay, so those are the words of the FA president, Kwesi Nyantakyi.